Morning, everybody. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. It's Wednesday, the 13th of May. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Ian Common and Steve O'Hare. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
All good?
Yep.
Yes. Got my iron
Fantastic.
shirt on today.
You got your
Iron
white shirt on?
shirt.
Come on, you irons.
Oh, right.
West Ham.
Yeah.
3 minutes. It's been ironed. Like, who's doing any ironing at the minute?
Gonna say.
Joking.
Yeah, let's to that chat, though. West Ham, what's that about?
What do you mean? What's that? It's the greatest club in London, isn't it? By a mile. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I analysed
yeah.
it.
In terms of thug fan base, yeah. Biggest thugs in London.
How rude.
Might upset a few people there. Never mind, eh? Anyway,
Yeah.
football should be back soon. They're going to get 2 tests a week, those players.
Are they?
Fucking tests
Not
everywhere.
surprised. Can pay for it themselves, can't they?
Yeah. Well, I think they've done well. They've donated quite a lot of money. Maybe not as much as they earn, but they've donated quite a bit. They've done a lot for charity. So good luck.
I think they had to.
Yes, indeed. Okay, lots of news out today, so going to cover a fair bit, hopefully, throughout the
Boring.
stream. Yeah, boring, and then we
No,
get on to
Jesus.
get onto some
Fundamental.
charts. I'm going to
Yeah.
chuck it over to Ian to start on the old FX.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the old dollar index. So we had the US CPI. Can't speak again this morning. CPI inflation data out yesterday, which basically hammered home the thoughts about lower interest rates or keeping extremely low interest rates in the States. So what we saw was that this dip down in the dollar index. This is the daily chart up here. And we did mention yesterday that the Marabuzzo level, which is the midpoint from the open and the close of this strongly bullish candle, would probably hold back selling interest. So, like I said, dip down. So very choppy trading in FX majors and probably a move higher now in dollar. So if we're looking at euro dollar, again, a resumption of this downward move towards probably this channel base. So
The alphabet on the screen.
it is. It's a complex correction. I could even use this one, but I won't bother. There's one in here that's got loads of different letters and stuff. It's just basically saying that it's complete madness, but they're all in 3 waves, which is normally dictates that the move to the downside is corrective. Now, I want to show this overnight. So obviously flashing up on the phone this morning is all this news about how bad the UK economy is getting on. But we've had contraction. So GDP is gross domestic product, and it is a gauge of the overall health of a country. And although it's contracted massive, 5.8 minus 5.8 month on month, it's actually a lot better than the forecast had expected. So they're expecting -8. So all of these little blue numbers
Significantly better.
are much better than expected. The only thing that was out of line was the trade balance, which was about 0.8 billion outside of what they expected. So, but all of these bad boys are looking quite good for sterling this morning, and also going back to the charts. But like I keep on saying, we've seen a little bit of a move to the upside in cable. The long-term bias, I think, especially with that dollar index now heading higher, is still to the downside, and can't really get much of a grip on sterling crosses at the moment. What was interesting overnight was the RBNZ, which is the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. They kept rates at 0.25%, but what they did do was increase quantitative easing, and we've seen a 1% drop in the New Zealand dollar overnight on the back of that. But I'm going to save that little bad boy for my trade of the day, because I think that's offered quite a decent trading opportunity this morning.
Ooh.
So that's my FX roundup.
Okay. Thank you very much, Steve. We've got some commodities.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. I'm actually thinking of sort of like dragging some other commodities into my sort of like morning briefing, talking maybe about corn and sugar and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people out there that trade it, and it may be worth adding to our list of never-ending assets we analyze. So anyway, where are we? All market sort of fell a little bit on worries that a possible second wave of the coronavirus in countries starting to ease lockdowns too early. US, you know who you are. Gold held steady as we wait for Powell's speech, Federal Reserve speech. Potentially, we've seen speculation on negative interest rates accumulating over the last few days. Copper prices declined as traders fretted about signs of a second wave of the coronavirus. So definitely pressure from Corona, and obviously adding to that is Federal Reserve potentially negative interest rates would be good for gold potentially, but
Have they
we'll
done
see.
that before, US? Do we know? Negative interest rates?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
Google
say
it
no.
quickly.
Yeah, Google it.
Okay.
The fountain of information. I wouldn't say no, but I can't remember. I can't remember even thinking about it. So maybe not on my radar. So oil, we're in a tentative triangle formation. We've just been sideways the last few days. We're getting to June delivery on the 15th, 16th. So obviously the worries and concerns about the the lack of storage being a problem. So I'm looking to sell a break of this triangle only for a short-term trade.
That's a no.
Yeah.
They've never had NIR before, negative interest
No.
rates.
And copper, again, we've broken down through this upward trending support line and negative yesterday. We managed to capture a little bit of return there, selling at 238, looking to do the same again today. Play the same trade. Yesterday, I was looking to sell a rally in gold, which returned a small reward as well. Today, I'd much prefer to be buying the dip. Silver, again, I'm quite happy to sell silver in this corrective channel. We've got dollar around the 100 psychological level. And what's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's being smashed about at the moment, just in a range as the halving has the halving happened already in Bitcoin.
I don't know. We were talking yesterday. We've got to read up on that. Not really.
Yeah, I think every time that it gets halved, it has this huge rally in the following weeks and months. Okay. So, yeah, we'll sort of like get our heads around that. Apart from that, OPEC and its allies want to maintain existing oil cuts beyond June, when the OPEC Plus group is next due to meet to shore up prices and demand, which has been hit by the coronavirus. Yeah, that's about it. 4 OPEC Plus sources revealed that yesterday. Global oil demand has slumped by about 30%. So, yeah, let's wait and see. Wait for the news.
Thanks, mate. I will take over and chat some indices. So yesterday, into the close in the US, there was quite a dramatic bit of selling that went on from sort of 6 o'clock yesterday into the close and overnight. We've seen a reasonable bounce back, but a volatile couple of hours to start the day today. As the guys have touched upon, a lot of that was down to fears over a second spike in the coronavirus cases. There was the Dr. Fauci, is it, the main guy in the US?
Yeah, New York guy.
Fears over a possibility of a second COVID-19 wave, and that could derail any gains. Warning that the eased lockdown measures could see a death spiral once again. And there's quite a bit of divergence between a few of the states. There was a 3-month extension to the lockdown announced in California, but that comes in a stark contrast to the announcement in Georgia that they're going to start reopening bars and restaurants on the 31st of May. So it's really all over the place there in the states, from state to state, which, I guess is going to get people worried. Also talking about negative interest rates, which we haven't seen before, so that would be something that's unprecedented, something else that's unprecedented in markets. So this is all sort of factoring into what's going on in stocks, particularly obviously a risk on, risk off. We're seeing a risk off move and we've seen that in the currencies as well with further quantitative easing measures in New Zealand. So the impact on the DAX, we've seen a breakout of a bit of a consolidation triangle here, and now looking to sell a rebound towards a 61.8% of that small swing move there at 10,750 today. Obviously, we've got off to a bad start with that because it looks as though it's already heading lower and not going to go and hit that entry level. But we shall see. Similar case on the FTSE. It's broken out of this channel. We were selling a break there yesterday, but that didn't trigger till quite late on. So after the 9 o'clock expiry there, looking to set a retest of that channel today up at 59.65. Yesterday I spoke about this potential for a head and shoulders top on the S&P 500, and we did see a breakdown and down to the target of that head and shoulders yesterday, down at 28.40, and seeing a bit of a bounce off of that today. I would be really looking to sell some strength in the S&P today up to probably 2,900. So I think the outlook for stocks has potentially turned the corner a little bit. Nasdaq as well, we can see some selling has taken place there. So I'd be looking to sell rallies in stocks today. That would be my take on things.
Yeah, nice one.
Okay, so we can move on to the gun to the head stuff now.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah.
Oh no,
it wasn't great yesterday.
I had a winner.
No,
I
you
don't
didn't.
care about the rest of you.
We got stopped out, Steve.
Who did?
You had copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the high of the day was 2.2867. You had a stop at 2.2860.
Yeah, I have to fucking throw a steward's inquiry in on that, mate. What was my stop?
You said 2.2860.
No, not 2.28. That's wrong.
Sorry, 2.3867. That was your target.
2.3867.
Was the high, I think. Your stop was at 60.
No, it didn't trigger on the chart that we were analysing. I had an alert in there.
Oh, okay.
And at 9 o'clock it was down at 2.3450.
Okay. 1 hour winner then.
Yeah, thank
Happy
you.
days. Sorry about that.
See?
Got a bit too eager
I've got to
on that.
watch you, haven't I?
I've been suppressing your numbers to the whole time.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't notice that.
And Ian had a 0.8R winner on dollar yen. So the only loser on the day was my one on Aussie yen.
Yeah, so it's not as bad as you said, is it?
No, it's not bad at all, actually. In fact, it's pretty darn good. Okay, so now you've really stitched yourself up because it's your honour.
All right, okay, go on. Throw it at me then. Just to sort of make sure I'm not going mad on that. There, close to the stop, 238.50. So got away with it, and then it came off, which obviously it realised I was right. I'm going to go for oil schmore, and I'm going to sell oil. Just a little bit of a obviously a punt. Obviously, prefer to sell a break down here, but we've seen sort of this rejection and maybe a little top in place here. So let's get oil schmoil. What's it trading? 25.71. Have the stop at
Steve, we've had a comment.
oh, go on in. Someone's going to say, "Oh
I
no!"
took that trade yesterday. Got stopped out.
Yeah, who's his broker? Find out who his broker is,
I don't know.
and we'll go around there together and we'll smash them up.
Is that Darren who said that? I think that's your brother-in-law taking the mic.
Yeah. Well, you got to be a bit luckier than that, mate. Sorry. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. It's only 2-to-1 risk reward. Short at 25.71. My stop is at 26.01, so 30 tick stop, and I'm looking to make 60 ticks on it.
Okay.
I'll put the alert in. You watch me put the alert in.
Yeah, we're watching.
Oh, are you? Are you still watching? Here we go. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
No, I do like that though. I think you're. I like oil. I think it's.
Well, no one else does. So yeah, that's me done.
Okay, Ian, you got one ready? There we go. You're on mute, I think.
Sorry, dog groomer turned up. You didn't hear me giggling in the background then.
A dog groomer. Is that someone who's sort of like?
It's for the dog, not for my haircut.
Right. Okay. They could sort of like they're shop clippers, aren't they?
He's got a little van outside.
Dog
You can hear him now.
He's not happy, is he?
He loves her. She
Does
feeds
he?
him biscuits. He falls asleep while he has it done.
Bloody hell.
It's all
Can I,
right for
can I go
somebody.
and see her? Give me a wash and feed me biscuits.
I need a good bit of grooming, but I've put this MT4 platform on.
That goes on a lot in Sheffield, doesn't it? That of grooming.
Grooming?
Stuff.
No, that's Doncaster. Rotherham. Same police force though. Same fuck up. Right, daily chart. D-Mark 13 count often indicates the end of a trend and the start of a new downward bias. If we look to the 4-hour chart, we've got a 13 count. If we look to the 30-minute chart, even that big spike up, we've got a 13 count. Now, the way that you're supposed to play D-Mark 13s is you take the length of the candle and you project that from the high of the 13 candle, and that gives you your stop, which will be up around here, probably 108.20. But going back to normal charts, I also like it because of this. 108.01 is a 261.8% extension level. That down there is all-time lows, I believe. So I think scope for a very decent move to the downside. If we go to the cross currency or the single currency charts, this is New Zealand dollar devalued 1% overnight, like we said earlier, and it's just hit a nice support level. So this is going to be my trade of the day, and I'll get it onto a short time frame. I want my stop above that, and I'm going to have an open target because I think it's long term, not short term. Whee! There you go. So 107.76. The hound is howling.
I can't hear him.
Can't hear him.
You? He's outside my window. There you go. That's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. 10 to 1.
10, okay.
So 107.76 with a stop at 108.13. Long-term target. So I'm not even going to mention that.
Okay, just while you've got your D-Mark charts up, there was a 13 count on the Nasdaq daily yesterday, I think.
Let's have a look.
So on Twitter, there was a couple of comments saying, "Oh God, we're going to have to put up with the D-Mark guys now."
There was a 13 a few days ago. It was
Okay.
on the 7th of May. But if you look at the highest candle, which is probably, which would give you the highest stop, it's probably this one here, the 8 candle. I don't know if that's a valid D-Mark actually. Yes, it is, just because the 13 candle has got to be above the 8, otherwise it's invalidated. The 8's there, so the stop would be up here, which is not far off where it turned around really.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, lovely. So I'm looking at copper.
Yes.
I usually look at, but it's trending lower. We had that fairly big reversal candle there. It's posted between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock today, and a break of this very short-term sort of consolidation move higher. So I'm going to jump on that. It's at 2.3495, and I'm going to target a move down to these kilos down here we saw on the 4th of May at 2.2870 with a stop at 2.3632, so 4.5 R.
Good luck with that.
TAR. Okay. So, news-wise, anything additional to add?
No.
So we talked about, obviously, the RBNZ raising the QE levels, leaving the door open for further rate cuts. Potential for negative interest rates in the US. So we've got the Fed talking today, have we? We've got Chairman Powell talking today.
Let's have a look.
There was a Chinese
1 o'clock.
There was a Chinese province, the Jilin province. They announced that they locked down the city amid another coronavirus outbreak. So that's obviously not helping.
Is that what's that? Is
already
that
fragile
population of 1 million?
fears.
I think that came out last week, actually.
Oh, did it?
I think so. Yeah, they definitely locked down another city last week, and it's like seems to have escaped the headlines.
Right. Okay.
Maybe it's the same one. Maybe it's another one. Don't know. I
But
don't trust their figures. That's
no,
for sure.
definitely not.
Mhm.
So in the UK yesterday, Chancellor Sunak announced the furlough scheme would be extended until October and would remain at 80% of earnings, although some companies will have to share the costs from the end of July. GDP numbers better than expected, as we discussed. And in comments from the Bank of England, Deputy Governor Broadbent stated that the central bank would have to consider the pros and cons of negative interest rates. So it's been spoken about in the UK as well. That pretty much wraps it up, I think. So
Yeah.
oil inventories later today, and Fed Chair Powell speaking.
Apart
Okay.
from that, it's a bit of a snooze, isn't it?
Not sure if there's any much on the earnings front in the States. I've not seen anything. Okay, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. We'll,
There he is.
He's back.
Here he is.
That's the quickest haircut on record.
They done. 40 quid, please. That's
Yeah,
quick.
hand over your cash.
Earns more than you, eh?
A lot more.
Right, let's wrap it up, gents. Have a great day. We will catch you all tomorrow.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.